What's a quote that has just stuck with you? Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes, but when we look back, everything is different. That's why I have 365 different shirts, all slightly a different color, making a rainbow throughout the year, despite each one looking the same as the one the day before and the same as the one the day after. Edit. Now to find someone who actually lets you buy exact hexadecimal values of shirts to do the rainbow effect. I know you aren't serious, but one of those picture a day videos where the person did this would be so cool. You can't make a racehorse out of a pig, but you can make a very fast pig. If you loan someone $20 and you never see them again, it was probably worth it. If you don't know what you want, you end up with a lot you don't. It took me until I was 31 to realize what I wanted to do when I grow up. I wish I would have found it when I was younger, because I thought about it here and there. Oh well, I am really happy now. What did you want to do? I did calibration. It was fun finding the solution to a problem, but the fun got less and less as newer and better equipment was made for us, the more the computer was fixing things. I switched from that to being a diesel mechanic. I'm still fixing problems, but way more fun. I feel like at the end of the day I did God work that helps people. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. Roosevelt. This is a great one. I've read it as start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. L. In a way that you should be grateful, yes. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't reach for dreams. Maybe you can one day find a passion and help people with life in Africa. Be grateful and happy with what you have, and don't get frustrated with what's not there yet, but you don't have to be lazy, there is so much out there. The world breaks everyone, and after, many are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway. That's tragic and beautiful. He should be a writer. This is the last part of that quote. It's even more tragic. But those that will not break it kills. It kills the very good and the very gentle and the very brave impartially. If you are none of these, you can be sure it will kill you too, but there will be no special hurry. Fuck, that's depressing. That's Hemingway. Wherever you go, there you are. When I realized it isn't necessarily a positive thing, you can pack up and move as far away as possible to start a better life and still be miserable because that's the problem in your life. No matter where you run, you just end up running into yourself. Wow, I hadn't thought of that interpretation. I always took it to mean you choose where you end up. I like the extra dimension you brought to it, thank you. Funny, I've never thought of it any other way than the interpretation you were responding to. I see so many people run away from problems that are basically issues with themselves, hoping that maybe this time it will be different. Spoiler, it's usually not, unless they actually change themselves too. I kind of like your interpretation, a positive spin on it for once. Thanks. Smiley face. My favorite iteration of the sentiment is lyrics from the Avett Brothers' Weight of Lies. So when you run, make sure you run to something and not away from. 'Cause lies don't need an aeroplane to chase you there. I was drinking with a friend of mine years ago, and he mentioned how in gardening, some people dig holes in their flower beads and put pint glasses in with a little bit of beer in the bottom. At night the slugs smell the beer, go over the lip, fall and then get trapped and drown in the beer. Then he said something like, sometimes I think we're the slugs. Sometimes you're the pigeon, sometimes you're the statue. Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you. Let's eat, Bob. Or, let's eat, Bob, said some bears. Let's eat out, Grandma. Or, there is no sadder sight than a young pessimist. Mark Twain. Ooh, don't I feel attacked? That's a big chunk of the Reddit population. We're all in this togetherness. Till we're lifeless together. Sometimes it seems like our only options are either blissful ignorance or informed torment. People mix up being a skeptic and being pessimistic. On Reddit, being a skeptic, always questioning the factuality of anything, is held up in a very high regard. Skeptics are regarded as free thinkers and incorruptible, but that often spills into pessimism. It is easy to go from "is that actually true?" to "that probably isn't true," which I think is an important distinction. I personally believe that assuming the worst can't be good for your mental well-being. Surely automatically assuming the worst must color your worldview. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure you can be a pessimist and be happy, but I feel like that is often not the case in young people. Especially when it, all too commonly, gets combined with a fatalistic approach that convinces you that everything is out of your control. When I was really struggling with depression, I was extremely pessimistic and fatalistic, and as I worked my way out of that, I have become increasingly optimistic, increasingly willing to allow life to take me where it goes, and with a firm belief that I have a moderate degree of control over it. I have spoken to and tried to help many people in that kind of situation, and the most common thought is how everything is terrible and nothing is in your control. Depression clouds your ability to think critically about your situation, and makes everything worse than it is, more unconquerable than it is. Of course, there are things in life that are completely shit, and I know lots of people who have gone through real horrors. But I also know plenty of people who have come out the other side as awesome human beings, not having forgotten their difficulties but having learned how to move beyond them. I feel like I may have gone on a tangent here. It is also easy on here to see things as doom and gloom, or amazing and great. The way media works, it makes everyone and everything either the greatest thing ever or the worst. It really helps to take a step back and try to have some perspective and realize a lot of things are more complicated than just great or terrible, and that things being great or terrible makes a good post but may not convey the whole story. Not great, not terrible. For riding motorcycles, don't dress for the ride, dress for the slide. I just have this image of a guy in full motorcycle gear hesitantly going down a park slide. And then getting an ice cream cone after. Then smooshing it into his helmet and riding off into the sunset. The modern unicorn. That man? Keanu Reeves? He gives the cone to a small child, playfully pets their puppy, then gets back on his bike and wheelies into the sunset. Breathtaking. You're breathtaking. Shit. I vaguely recall there being some commercial years ago of someone on a motorcycle doing an infinite wheelie. They just keep going, and then start doing stupid things while maintaining the wheelie. Wish I could remember what it was a commercial for so I could link it. I work in a very diverse part of town. Think just outside the downtown core, but very hipster and trendy and kinda sketchy. I see a ton of very macho looking men in motorcycle gear with long grizzled beards go wild for our Sundays. Life's good. End. All those days that came and went, little did I know that they were life.